Welcome back. We begin with today's big story. Close to 100 shops were closed down at Opera Square in Accra today by some local retailers of Ghana Union of Traders Association. Local traders said they're taking the law into their own hands as government has persistently failed to address their interests.
The exercise, which was met with stiff opposition by affected foreign retailers, is part of measures Guta plans to undertake till the end of 2019 to reach the local market of foreign retailers.
This comes in the wake of the closure of the Nigeria-Benin border. This, we cannot say is linked to that, but they are strictly saying that it's all part of efforts to affect the law, the JIPC law, which states explicitly that foreign retailers should not be indulged in the retail trade here in the country.
One of the foreign shops that was hit hardly belongs to Eze Geoffrey Mokogo, a Nigerian trader who feels ill-treated by the action.
The traders like me has no authority to come and lock my shop.
But now that the shop has been locked, what's next for you?
Then I'll consult my lawyer. I'll consult my lawyer.
But the issue is that this particular space is for locals and not foreigners.
It's not true. I am an ECOWAS citizen.
But the GIPC law that states categorically that this area is for local retailers and not foreigners.
Give me. I want to show you the document. This is an international market, and we are permitted to stay in the market. This is
if you could show it to the camera.
Yes, camera. This is the. This is the Ghana Investment Promotion Council's certificate that authorizes me to do business here.
This is not the first time this year that Guta members have gone on rampage against foreign retailers. Last week, a similar distress action was embarked upon at the Swami Magazine, Alaba and other market centers in Kumasi.
I have here with me the PR for the Greater Accra Electricals Association to help us understand what exactly is happening. So we came here, we saw what is going on. Explain to us what exactly is happening.
We are saying foreigners should not do retailing in this local market, and we have warned them severally, but I think they are turning deaf ear to what we are talking about.
So how many shops?
We have had a lot of encounter with them, and then it seems they don't want to listen to us.
The closure of these shops follows the protracted closure of the Nigerian-Benin border, which has left trucks from Ghana stranded at the borders. So far, Nigerian authorities have revealed an extension of the border closure till January 31, 2020, a development the president of Guta, Dr. Joseph Obin, has described as proof of weak ECOWAS protocols.
The ECOWAS protocol, the so-called, is virtually non-existent. The fact that they haven't been able to put this situation and manage this situation.
Charles Ayete reporting for Joy Business.
So the Association of Ghana Industries has also been responding to the latest development. It says Ghana must take a cue from the border closure by Nigeria to restrict free movement of people and goods. It comes as a West African neighbor has decided to extend its action set to be targeted at Benin till January next year. The development has serious impact on goods entering and leaving Nigeria, with this attendant effects on regional trade and local economies. AGI insists Ghana pursues a retaliatory measure to protect local businesses.
I mean, the recent closure of the Nigerian border it's an example. It's a typical example. Ghana shouldn't be worried about Nigeria closing their border. We should rather be happy they've closed their border because they want to promote their local industries, and we have to take a cue from that. Close our borders to some imports of goods that we produce in Ghana, so we can promote local industries. We are creating jobs, so we should be encouraged to create more jobs. Listen, these are deliberate policies every country does. What is happening to US and China right now, it's a similar thing. You have to support your own. If you don't support your own, who is going to support your own? We are not saying we should ban all imports, but things that we do here should be protected.
In other news tonight, the Ghana Employers Association has reiterated the need for its members to be well conversant with the labor laws in a bid to encourage good employer-employee relationship and reduce disputes at the workplace. It is therefore collaborating with the National Labour Commission to sensitize its members on ways to prevent the aggravation of workplace disputes. National Treasurer for the association, Dr. Abuaso Amponsa Kudia, spoke to Love Business on the sidelines of the launch of the Labour Commission office in Kumasi.
I think we're going to work closely with them, you see, because we are all partners in the development of the country. Because without employers, where is labor or employee? And without us, what job has the Labour Commission got to do? And therefore, we promise to work hand in hand to be able to, calm the work industry or the working industry or the working atmosphere, so that Ghana can move forward. Disputes at the workplace disrupts the work a lot, and therefore when there is no harmony, it becomes very difficult for the nation to progress. And therefore, as much as possible, we're going to cooperate with them and make sure that whatever issues that involve us, we also do our part, to resolve them. You see, we know definitely, the working environment is not as, juicy, because there are problems, taxes, So at times, if an employer, such, agitations come to you in respect of what the employees want, if you are not careful and you don't know the labor law, you are likely, to do your own things.
Now, the Ghana Herbal Manufacturers Practitioners Association is charging the youth to take advantage of Ghana's growing herbal economy. President Dr. Solomon Apiakubi says Ghana's reputation as the second largest herbal product manufacturer makes it possible to curb the problem of graduate unemployment. He was speaking at a business seminar organized by Christ Apostolic University Business School.
A 2000 report by the WHO suggests between 60 and 95% of Africans are said to depend on traditional medicine for their primary healthcare needs. An estimated 951 tons of crude herbal medicine valued at $7.8 million was sold in Ghana's herbal market in 2010. Dr. Apiakubi observes the herbal value chain from cultivation of raw materials to solid waste disposal provides many employment avenues.
Starting from the raw materials side, you see, Ghana currently the only country that is ahead of Ghana in terms of medicinal, tropical medicine production is South Africa. Not even in terms of the volume, but in terms of their research base and their financing into research. And the whole world, people have now appreciate herbal medicine from Ghana, even ahead of China. And so the prospects in the herbal industry is wide. The herbs that we use, let's say bitter leaf, let's say jama, or let's say the medicinal plants we use, garlic, lemon. You have some garlic mixtures and then lemon mixtures and all that. All this one, if the youth could go, let's say those in agriculture, they can go into the farming of these crops, or even if they are not doing that, they can bridge the gap between the local farmers and we, the manufacturers, in the sense that they get the materials from them, they supply us. It can be a huge source of funds for them as they journey along in life.
Christ Apostolic University College Business School and the Student Representative Council jointly organized a seminar to give students insight into business ideas. Dean of the Business School, Dr. Kwakwa Henkra, cited South Africa's investment in what is known as bioeconomy. He says policymakers and implementers must pay attention to the area involving biomedical services like pharmaceutical and herbal medicine.
The economy of the future is a bioeconomy where businesses related to the biomedical sciences, of which herbal is one of them, food and agriculture, medicine, and then also other related services in that direction. So this is very important for us to be able to understand it. And then also from a practical point of view, the steps that you can take to be able to have an idea and then come up with the other idea. We also went through the bio-innovation cycle, knowing that science gives us the knowledge to have an idea in terms of coming up with new products or services.
Some of the students spoke to Joy Business.
I will classify this seminar as edutainment. Edutainment in the sense that halfway it was entertaining and halfway it was very educative.
For Joy Business, Kwesi Deborah.
Well, some more news related to employment. Well, graduates are being asked to acquire project management skills in order to be employable. Founder of Edwin's Project Management, Godwin Eduafo, says the skill has become crucial as it equips graduates with problem-solving skills. He was speaking at the third career fair by the Christian Service University College.
Mr. Eduafo believes technical skills are relevant, but insists project management makes the graduate more competitive.
Realize that these days the graduates do not have complementary skill set like project management. They might not actually say it, but when you go for the interview, all the things they're asking you, basically asking you whether you have project management skills. To them, they do not even know it's project management, but they are asking you, can you deliver on time? Are you a planner? Are you go organize?
Director at KNUST Center for Business Development, Samuel Yawakomia, observes lack of data on Ghana's unemployment rate makes the problem difficult to address.
When you are planning any initiative as a country, you know the figures you are planning with. Not in Ghana. So we don't have data on number of graduates who even school outside and also come home. In addition to your woes, people also go to school outside and they come back and look for employment. They compete with you. Government has no data. How many people get employment for the first time every year? We don't have statistics of employees who change jobs.
Dr. Kwesi Opon of Kwesi Opon Company Limited encouraged students to be creative in order to thrive in an ever-changing world. The career fair saw corporate agencies interact with students on opportunities available to graduates in their respective areas of work. It was under the theme, Employability in the 21st Century, the Ghanaian Graduate Skills Gaps and the Mismatched Expectations. President of Christian Service University College, Professor Samuel Afrane, says the university is placing a premium on entrepreneurship development.
Some of the lectures would be delivered by resource persons who have hands-on experience in entrepreneurship. And this fair is being organized in that particular spirit. We haven't done much.
Reporting for Joy Business, Kwesi Deborah.
Back to Accra, the International Finance Corporation is urging a more robust identification system, collateral registry among others, to support the warehouse receipt financing system to persuade banks to lend to the agribusiness sector. Speaking at the International Finance Corporation West Africa Warehouse and Receipt Financing Forum, the country manager for the IFC, Ronke Amoni Ogunsulere, said for the warehouse receipt system to work effectively, the right infrastructure must be put in place to encourage the banks to lend.
Right now, the agricultural sector is seen as to be a somewhat more risky sector than others. And if you look at the whole West African region, less than 5% of the loans go to banks, even though 65% of the population is employed through agribusiness. So it's now how can we help banks become more comfortable with lending to the agribusiness sector. So one thing is having a commodity exchange in place. Another thing is making sure that they're comfortable with the storage facilities. And this is where an institution like IFC and working with USAID, working with SECO, then can come and help to send the message that, in fact, and giving technical assistance to make sure that these warehouses are run professionally and the receipts are something that banks can trust. But another thing that that's important too is everything to do with financial infrastructure, because yes, it's one good thing to have collateral, but those are one of the constraints to financing. Another constraint is just knowing your customer. Banks want to know who they're lending to. So all the work that the government of Ghana is doing on the IDs and so on will help. The other thing that is important is there's work that IFC is doing with the Central Bank of Ghana, where we're working on the credit bureaus. So it's basically having information on lenders so that when a bank wants to potentially lend to a customer, they can go into the system and see this customer has borrowed before and has paid back within the time frame. So this is a good customer. So there's no need to penalize that customer for other bad customers in the system. Another thing is the collateral registry. It's putting in place a collateral registry so that once collateral has been used to get a loan, everybody in the system knows that it's been used and it can't be used again. So these are some of the things that also helps banks feel more comfortable and lend to the agribusiness sector.
Well, meanwhile, the CEO of the Ghana Commodity Exchange, Dr. Alpha Kadri, says progress has been made with the warehouse receipt system, and farmers can currently use their warehouse receipts to also obtain loans from some 12 banks.
With the warehouse receipts, they are able to trade on the exchange platform at the time that they feel that the prices are right for them. Just about last week, we also launched the warehouse receipt financing. So the farmers can now, Ghanaian farmers can now, they can now use their receipts as a security or as a sole collateral to be able to get loans from some commercial banks.
Okay, so talk of this initiative where they can use to get loans. Is it already in implementation, and which banks can farmers actually access this money from?
Any farmer can access it. Any farmer can access it. So far as the farmer comes to us and then, you can use the receipt, you can access it. It's no problem.
But which banks can they get?
The banks, we have about 12 banks that have registered with us. All the high street banks you see, they can all come in and, and they provide the financing.
In other news tonight, the Association of Rural Banks is calling on the Minister of Finance to amend laws to allow state institutions to transact business with rural and community banks in their catchment areas. Speaking to Joy Business at the 7th Annual Banking Week celebration at Rara in the Oti region, the director of Esubontin Rural Bank, Nana Dr. Owusu Afari, said rural banks have been left out of the financial inclusion agenda if government departments are not permitted to open accounts and undertake banking services.
To Nana Owusu Afari, the policy is counterproductive and does not help with efforts to promote financial inclusion in the country.
One of these important challenges is that government institutions and departments are not allowed to open accounts with our rural banks. It is sad that the management of major government institutions like the Rara Government Hospital, the Rara Senior High School, the managers and the masters have to travel to Jasikai for their banking business when there is a bank in Rara. We hereby invite the Minister of Finance to review this decision. For instance, just yesterday, an accountant of a small hotel in Rara had to travel to Jasikai to pay the social security contributions at Ghana Commercial Bank.
Nana, serving as a chairman of the occasion, stated that the full financial inclusion can only be achieved when students are taught financial literacy.
We do not teach our children the importance of financial literacy. and the functions of banks in our community. In Europe and other places, at JSS level, they start teaching the children how to save.
In an address delivered on behalf of the Oti Regional Minister Kwesi Owusu-Yeboah by the DCE for Biakwe, Comfort Atta, rural banks should start considering measures to help them meet the new capital requirement by the Bank of Ghana.
We are saying that capitalization of rural banks in Ghana has been a major challenge, and this has invariably affected the size of the bank's operations. It is against this background that issues of mergers and acquisitions should be seriously considered by the various stakeholders in the rural banking industry.
The Banking Week celebration ended with a quiz competition for basic schools in the catchment area.
What is the minimum capital adequacy ratio requirement for rural and community banks in percentage terms?
8%.
That is not correct. You have a second attempt.
10%.
That is correct for 3 points.
With the winners getting cash prize and learning materials from sponsors. Fred Duhos reports for Joy Business.
Now, President of the Mana Mission Incorporated is urging government to rescind its decision to tax activities of mission hospitals. According to Reverend Dr. Seth Abloh, these hospitals are already rendering cheaper healthcare services to citizens, and so any attempt to tax them will be burdensome. He made the call at the commissioning ceremony of the Mana Nursing College in Accra. Here's a report by Philip Ankra.
The conversation as to whether churches must pay taxes to government has become rife in a section of the media recently. While some believe that churches must pay tax as a form of their contribution to nation building, others think otherwise. Recently, Chief Executive Officer of the Public Sector Reforms, Thomas Kusi-Boafo, grounded his position on the fact that churches have now moved into the realm of wealth creation and prosperity. But the head pastor of the Mana Missions Church, Reverend Dr. Seth Abloh, believes by taxing churches, the foreign donor will be unwilling to support activities of these organizations.
Then the government wants to tax the mission hospital. It will never work. If you tax the donors, they will send the goods to Europe, Ukraine.
Apologies for that. Well, the Ghana Revenue Authority says it is exploring what it describes as more creative ways to ensure effective taxation of the digital economy. Digital taxation has become necessary because Ghana's existing laws do not effectively capture realities of modern economy in fast-paced digital transactions. Deputy Commissioner Edward Jambra advocates measures to address tax leakages in the digital economy through innovative tax legislation. He spoke on the topic Taxing the Digital Economy, the Way Forward at a public lecture organized in Kumasi by the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana. Nana Sensumensa sat through and reports.
There is no study to measure the level of digital transaction penetration on the Ghanaian market. As a global issue, however, taxation of digital transactions is on the low side, with GRA and, for that matter, the country losing millions of cedis in taxable money. Mr. Jambra says GRA has difficulty in effectively tracking of digital transactions.
As a global issue, we know that we are having the penetration now. As you can see, we have the Tonaton, we have the OLS, we have the Uber. Recently, the Yango, and all of them are coming on board. So this tells you that the penetration is increasing, and if we don't position ourselves, it can erode our tax base, and that is what we need to prevent.
With more businesses going digital, there is the need to look into the tax framework to leverage online businesses as potential source of revenue. To create level playing field between online and offline businesses, GRA assures of digitizing its operations and processes by end of 2020.
What we need to do now is to come up with some guidelines and some regulations as to how we will tax the digital economy. By the end of 2020, GRA should be fully digitized. All our business processes and procedures should be fully digitized.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana ICAG public lecture brought together students, accounting professionals, and other interest groups. ICAG President Professor Adam Frimpong revealed new policies to review qualification processes for chartered accountant.
And that's Business Live tonight. Thanks for watching. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching.